Okay, on to our second part of this three-part series, our side lying series. If you haven't done the bridging and abs and you'd like a full workout, go ahead and do that one first and then jump to this one. We're going to lie down on our side. Either side is fine. We want our torso nice and straight, and then legs are going to come slightly forward. Our waist will pull up and off of the floor to find our side neutral spine. You can use the hands for a little bit of balance. Our top leg is going to lift and lower. Let's flex both feet. Now we're careful to lift the leg only as high as we can keep our hips stacked. No movement in the top side of the waist. Notice that my hip is not sliding up to the rib cage. Make sure there's none of this movement here. Core works to keep the hip down. Now we're going to hold the leg up, add a small kick forward and a small kick back. We'll flex to kick forward, point to kick back. When you kick the leg back, I want you to slightly tuck the tailbone between the legs to prevent the low back from arching. Maintaining as much stability as you can throughout the pelvis and the waist and the lumbar area. Now we're going to imagine that we're riding a bike. So we'll bend the knee. Careful how high you bring that knee, keeping the hip down in opposition of the knee coming up. Drawing hip down as knee pulls up. Waist is still lifting up off of the floor. Now we're going to reverse, so we kick forward with a straight leg, bend the knee to kick back. We'll reach the leg out really, really long and set it down. Now the top foot is going to step forward. If that's uncomfortable, you can set your foot behind you instead. Now our waist is allowed to collapse into the floor, but our belly button's going to zip in tight, and bottom leg is going to lift and lower with a flexed foot. We want our our neck to be rested. We can bend the elbow if that's better for the neck. Now maybe shut your eyes for a moment and notice if there's any movement in the torso. See if you can find stillness. So there's no momentum in that bottom leg. It's rising with control and it's dropping with control. We don't get to rest at the bottom. Right before that leg rests, we pull it back up. We're going to hold it up now and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold it up as high as you can, and rest the leg down. Now we're going to take both legs back up to straight. We're going to do what's called our banana. We'll definitely need this top hand to help us stabilize. We're going to take an inhale to lift torso and legs at the same time, and with control we come back down. Now see how much you need this hand. Maybe make that hand light, and if you don't need it, you're welcome to reach your arm out towards the legs. Belly button is zipped into the spine to protect the low back and keep core active. Lots of work for that top oblique. We'll see if we can hold it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest it down. Now a nice stretch for the shoulders. We're going to take the arms and knees forward into kind of a fetal position, head rests. Top arm is going to drag on the floor, up and over the head. We'll reach the arm back behind us and hold it here. Reach long through both arms. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, allow your shoulders to sink closer to the floor. Now slide your top knee forward to keep the knees stacked. Couple more breaths. Last one. And come back onto your side. Now we're going to prop up onto our elbow to find a side plank. Knees can be bent, especially if you haven't done this before. And we would lift our hips from here. If you want a little bit more, take your legs just straight with your top foot forward and hips come off of the mat. Elbow is directly under the shoulder. We're just going to pulse the hips here, halfway down and up. Hold it up, take top arm to the ceiling, one rotation through the spine, thread the arm under the bottom armpit, and reach up to the ceiling, and hips will come down. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Legs are gonna come to what we call a mermaid. We want the back knee to be in kind of a 90-degree bend, unless that bothers the knee. For some people, this will bother the knee. So if that's the case, we want to pull the foot in as much as needed until your knee is happy. Okay, arms are going to go up to a T. We come up and over towards that hip. And to the other side. Now we're drawing the shoulders down. We're keeping the neck straight, so we don't want to look down at the floor. We want to look straight forward. And imagine that your spine is up against a wall behind you, and I want the back of your head connected to that wall as well. Up through center. We're going to switch legs to the other direction, starting with that 90-degree bend. Adjust if needed, pulling the foot in closer. And we go up and over. To the other side, draw the shoulders down. Try to keep both hips attached to the floor. You'll notice that there's probably one hip that does not want to sink into the floor, so drive that one down as much as you can. And taking it up. We're going to find our side plank on this side first before we come down. So our head is now at the opposite edge of our mat. Legs are straight or knees are bent. Knees are bent is a little bit more manageable. Choose the one that's best for you. Hips come off the floor and we pulse. Our neck is straight in line with the rest of the body. Our hand is heavy. Don't let your hand or wrist pop off of the mat. Holding hips up, arm goes to the ceiling. We add a rotation, twist. Reach up to the ceiling and rest the hips down. Now we're going to start from the top on this side. So spine will be straight, feet will come forward, and we'll start by lifting and lowering that top leg. Waist lifts off of the floor as we pull that top hip away from us. Make sure that there's no movement in that top side. Now we hold the leg up, we flex to kick forward, we point to kick back. Use the hand on the floor if needed to stabilize, especially if we're new to Pilates. It takes a lot of core to hold the pelvis still. Notice how much it wants to wobble around. Keeping pelvis still and keeping waist lifted and the top side of the waist straight. That's where all of the core work is coming from. Now we're going to ride our bike. So we bend the knee forward, kick the leg straight up, and swoop it back. Draw this hip down in opposition of the knee coming up. Only take that knee as high as you can keep the waist straight Little tip is if you have any creases in the top side of your shirt, that means your hip's coming up. Maybe we don't bend the knees high if that's the case. Now reverse. Taking full deep breaths into the rib cage so that we can keep the transverse abdominis in tight, which is the main core muscle. Always breathing into the rib cage when doing Pilates. We'll reach the leg out really long as we set it down. Then we step the top foot forward. Maybe it goes back if that's uncomfortable. And the bottom leg is going to lift and lower with a flexed foot. If you need to bend the elbow so that the neck is more comfortable, you're welcome to do that. I prefer to bend the elbow when doing this one. Now we shut the eyes for a moment. We notice if there's any movement in the torso at all. And maybe we slow it down, finding more control. And make sure that we're not resting the leg when it hits the floor. It's going to come right back up. We'll hold the leg up and pulse. And hold it up as high as you can. Breathe into it. Don't let the leg lower. And rest it down. We're going to go into our banana now. Legs are straight, torso and legs lift at the same time. And lower. Maybe we try without that hand in front of us. On the next one, we'll hold it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest it down. Knees are going to come forward with the arms. Head will rest, and we'll take that stretch for our shoulders. So we drag the top arm up and over the head. We hold it back, eyes on the ceiling, or even back with that arm. Knees are stacked. We inhale. Exhale, allow the shoulders to drop to the floor. Last breath. And take it back onto your side. Compress yourself up. And you guys are all done. Nice job. That completes our side lying portion. I hope that now you'll move on to our back body series if you've got time for it. Please leave any comments or requests for future videos, and click like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more Pilates. And I'll see you next time.